Welcome inside the Meridian Center in downtown St. Catharines, Ontario, where the Niagara River Lions play host to the St. John's Edge. The River Lions will have their hands full tonight as the Edge sits second in the Atlantic Division and are knocking on the door of first place right behind the London Lightning. I'm Ian Domenigato alongside my partner Zach Dadson, live here courtside, and we are in for a great matchup here. Two teams who are very familiar with one another, and as I mentioned, the River Lions will have their hands full here tonight. However, they catch a bit of a break as the second leading highest scorer in the NBLC in points per game, that is, Carl English, will be out of the lineup tonight for St. John. Zach, what do you think is in store for the River Lions, and what do they have to do to keep this high-powered offense of St. John's Edge at bay?
Well, you know, it's going to be really important to see how well the Niagara River Lions are able to establish themselves inside the paint early in this game. We've seen Niagara be able to shoot well from the three-point line, a couple points during the 7-game homestand, but, you know, there are other times when they're not able to get those shots to fall, and that's when those important plays inside the paint are going to be really essential for the Niagara River Lions.
Yeah, that's really somewhere the River Lions have struggled in the last couple of games, is getting things going in the paint. They're really going to need that type of effort here tonight against the Edge.
Game 6 of the River Lions 7-game homestand, season-long homestand throughout the month of March here at the Meridian Center. River Lions 3-1 to start this homestand. So this is game number 5 of the homestand. Kitchener-Waterloo Titans coming to Niagara on Saturday night.
Yes, they've done a solid job on this homestand in front of the home crowd. Dropped a tough one to the Island Storm last week in a back-to-back situation. And we are underway. Jalen Tate starts things off here for the River Lions.
Here's the guy that needs to get going. Can Guillaume Payen-Boucard get to the rim tonight?
Here's Joseph. Chris Joseph surveying. Tries to get a pass inside. That didn't connect with Devontae Pollard.
Yeah, I don't think Pollard and Joseph are on the same page on that one. Beautiful pass. Unfortunately, Devontae Pollard not on the baseline to collect it.
Now here's Jaron Skeet. Over to Reed. Now here's Charles Hinkle. He's someone you got to keep an eye out for. Inside to Reed. Double teamed by the River Lions. 2 on the shot clock. Hinkle's got to chuck one up. He does. And it won't go. Good defense by Niagara.
That's right, not allowing them to get that shot. A little bit of a risky moment there with Hinkle wide open, but no shot.
Look at Jalen Tate cutting through the defenders and finishing at the rim. That's what he does so well, using his speed and agility. And you know what? St. John's, they've seen this Niagara River Lions team before. They know what Jalen Tate can do while distributing the basketball, and he shows that he can score just as well as he can distribute. Oh, nice job by Payen-Boucard there. Reading the play, knocking that one out of bounds. So with 8 on the shot clock, the Edge are going to have to draw something up quick here from the baseline.
This is good. A couple possessions now to start this game. The River Lions have not allowed the Edge to get comfortable.
Darren Lee gets absolutely denied by Devontae Pollard. And now Chris Joseph jacks up a 3, but that one won't go. So back and forth we go here at the Meridian Center. River Lions lead 2-0 in the early goings. Here's Ryan Reed, hands off to Darren Lee. Or Desmond Lee, excuse me. And then Reed jacks up a mid-range 2 and knocks it down. That's a nice shot.
Yeah, excellent job from the mid-range there.
Here's Jalen Tate, waiting for something to open up. Finds Connor Wood. He's had a good last couple of games for Niagara. Pollard, mid-range 2. That one won't go, and that's his bread and butter, usually.
Yeah, a little tit for tat there after he got scored upon on the defensive end, but unable to get that one to go.
Wally Allenson gets the ball knocked away by Chris Joseph. Wally Allenson, the last time he was in this building, had one of the best dunks of the season. The guy can get up.
That's right, River Lions fans remember Allenson from his days with the Windsor Express, now a big-time player here for the St. John's Edge.
Skeet now to Reed. Back to Jaron Skeet. Now they play catch again. Reed drives, gets a pass inside to Allenson. Floater won't go, but there's Boucard to snag the rebound and quickly brings it back up for the River Lions.
Lucky break. Now you mentioned the St. John's Edge played last night.
Oh, a huge block by Allenson, but Devontae Pollard with the hammer.
It's the high intensity we're seeing here from the River Lions to start this game. A lot of energy down the court for the home team here, buoyed by the crowd at the Lions Den.
Here's Hinkle, drives, found a wide open lane. That was too easy.
A little bit too easy. A couple 5 River Lions standing around watching that play develop.
That's not a guy you want to leave wide open lanes for. He's first in points in the NBLC, 3rd in points per game, and 2nd in 3-pointers made. A pure scorer is Charles Hinkle. Nice bounce pass inside from Boucard, and one, count it, Devontae Pollard. Good start by Pollard on both ends. Had a big block earlier, and now he's got 2 buckets to go as well.
You know, when Devontae Pollard joined this team, it was a kind of a slow going, watching him trying to find himself here and what he was going to be able to contribute, what spots he was going to be able to add to the River Lions offense. But in the last couple of games, Ian, he has done an excellent job of being a guy that you don't necessarily have to run things for. He's just in the right spot at the right time, and he's able to clean stuff up around the rim.
Yeah, he's a really versatile guy. Again, one of the River Lions that can score from pretty much anywhere. Beyond the arc, inside, those mid-range twos he loves to shoot, and around the rim, as you mentioned, Zach, he can finish off there as well. The River Lions lead 7-4 here. Charles Hinkle, we mentioned his accolades. Look at him go, and that's again way too easy.
Yeah, cross-step Connor Wood on that one, walked right into the lane. No one behind Wood to send help.
So a 1-point game now. River Lions looking to respond. Jalen Tate. Connor Wood thought about jacking up a 3, drives instead. Nice behind the back pass to Pollard. He puts up that 2 again, that won't hit. Usually he's money from that range. Miscommunication there, but Connor Wood gets back in track and slows down Desmond Lee, and the edge will slow things down here as well. Skeet, 10 on the shot clock. It's a bit of a double team. Now Lee tries to get around Wood. Does, puts up a shot. Oh, and after a couple of bounces off the rim in the backboard, it falls.
That was really good pressure by Devontae Pollard. Didn't work out there on that play, but to send that double team and then quickly come right back after disrupting the play. Good defensive intensity here by the River Lions. That was the message after last week's games.
The Edge take the lead. Boucard jacks up a 3. Nope, won't go.
Coach Rosso, after last week's games, you know, we saw the River Lions kind of slip away and they had a lead, but they weren't able to hold on to it. Defensive intensity was going to be the message.
Skeet was left wide open, decided to put up a 3-pointer. Wouldn't go, but he gets the ball back and a new 24 for the Edge. Now Desmond Lee back to Jaren Skeet. Goes around the perimeter, tries to get that pass out, but no, there's Chris Joseph to pick it off. And then Connor Wood gets fouled on the fast break.
Good outlook pass there by Chris Joseph. One step, and he found Connor Wood tearing down the lane. Unfortunately, Wood getting tied up, and that's going to be a on-the-floor foul for the St. John's Edge. Their first one of the, their second one here of the quarter.
The River Lions will get an inbounds play here. Former Boston Celtic and Brooklyn Net, Chris Joseph.
Of course, Syracuse Orangemen, as they do very well in the tournament on the Sweet 16.
Oh, yeah. Here he is now. Loses the handle, saves it from going out of bounds. Charles Hinkle's all over.
Keeps the dribble alive, too. Good job there by Chris Joseph.
But then almost turned the ball over. However, it goes off Ryan Reed, so it will remain River Lions possession at the baseline. Just 8 seconds on the shot clock, though. The River Lions have struggled in these situations all season long.
It has not been something that they have done particularly well, but, you know, as the season goes on, these set of players have been playing with each other for a long time now. No excuses here. 8 seconds, they've got to get themselves a good look.
7:10 remaining here in the opening quarter. River Lions lead, River Lions are down 8-7.
A couple of fans wearing Connor Wood jerseys there on the baseline.
Love to see that. Support from the fans. River Lions got a good look there from Jalen Tate.
He
did a good job. Knock down the 3, though. And they're going to get a travel on Desmond Lee, so a good break for Niagara. Tough one for the Edge, and it will be River Lions possession here. 6:57 remaining in the opening quarter. The score remains 8-7 for the Edge. A slow start for both teams.
River Lions just 3 for 9 to start this game. The Edge 4 for 8.
Joseph, a deep 3, that's short. And the River Lions continue to struggle from beyond the arc.
Yeah, tough start to this game. They're 0 for 4. That's where almost all of their misses in this game have come beyond the arc.
Here's Hinkle, inside to Reed. Good job containing him so far. Good double team there by Wood. Skeet puts up a 3, won't go, and Chris Joseph's there to corral the rebound. Now here's Jalen Tate. Phenomenal rookie out of Chicago, Illinois. Beautiful pass to Pollard. Fadeaway 2 won't go, and as we said, his bread is buttered from that range, and he's missed 3 of those now.
Continue here tonight for Devontae Pollard.
Not happy with himself. You can tell from his body language, but just got to keep shooting. Those shots will start to fall, you'd have to think. Look at Hinkle's handles. Tries to give a go with Elton, but he decides to jack up a three, and a good decision. He knocks it down.
Yeah, for a first three-pointer of this game is made by Wally Ellenson from the St. John's Edge. Big bucket there as that lead extends to 4.
Pollard hands off to Wood. Riverlions look to respond. They need a response. Wood, mid-range 2, and he knocks it down. You don't see him shoot many from inside the paint.
No, Connor Wood, 3-point specialist on the Niagara Riverlions, 2017 U Sports Player of the Year at Carleton University as a member of the Ravens, winning the national championship last year.
That's right, Zach, and he cuts the deficit for the Riverlions to 2. 11-9, the Edge lead here. Hinkle, a wild circus shot, won't go.
Good switch there by Devontae Pollard and Guillaume Payen-Boucard, not allowing either player to get any room. Reed didn't have anything to do, and you know, Hinkle not able to get that shot off without being contested very strongly by the Niagara Riverlions. Good first couple of minutes here for the Riverlions. They don't have the lead, they're down by 2 points, but you have to be impressed with their intensity so far.
Yeah, and their defensive intensity, absolutely. You know, this is one of the most high-powered scoring offenses in the entire NBLC, if not the highest scoring. And you know what? Charles Hinkle is a dangerous man on the basketball court, and they've done a pretty good job holding him in check. He's 2 for 4 with 4 points. You know, he's going to get his looks. They've done a good job of containing him and playing, you know, some good swarming defense. They're going to have to continue that down the stretch. You know, hopefully some of these shots that they've missed in the early goings here will start to fall. You'd have to think so. They're 4 of 12 from the field. My goodness, 33%. You got to think that's going to get better. 0 for 4 from downtown.
And yet just stuck 2 points. You know, they're also being out-rebounded. The Edge have done a good job of collecting those rebounds. Riverlions, despite missing so many shots early in this game, just one offensive board, and that created a great opportunity. Devontae Pollard was able to collect that offensive rebound and get the putback for those extra 2 points, and that's the kind of tenacity we need to see from the Riverlions around the rim tonight. You know, if they're going to take mid-range shots, if they don't find that they're able to get themselves right to the rim from outside, they're going to be able to make sure that guys like Devontae Pollard and Sam Muldrow are able to collect those defensive rebounds.
Yeah, they need those guys to really assert their dominance in the paint, and it's easier said than done when you're going up against big guys like Ryan Reed and Grandy Glaze. But they're going to need, if they want to be successful, they're going to need to start scoring in the paint.
Well, that's right. All roads, you know, as we look to the playoffs, Riverlions just 5 games after tonight's matchup left in the season. They're either going to have to go through the London Lightning or the St. John's Edge in that first round of the playoffs. And so it's all playoff basketball from here out for the Riverlions.
Yeah, and this is a big game. You know, if they do end up meeting St. John's in the playoffs, you know, you're going to want to go into that meeting, you know, taking something from here tonight. Last couple of decisions have gone to St. John in this rivalry, and you know what, it'll be a big part of the Riverlions' makeup going into the playoffs, and big mentally for them as well to get some momentum.
Of course, you know, and St. John's Edge fans will be able to look forward to seeing the Niagara Riverlions for 2 games over Easter weekend to finish off the season. Riverlions' 2 final games of the season in St. John's.
Hinkle, 7 on the shot clock. Charles Hinkle pulls up from deep. And that's wide, and Jalen Tate will let it go out of bounds as it went off of a St. John player's hand. So Riverlions, another good defensive effort there.
Is that Anthony Stover there on the court? Number 0 for the St. John's Edge. Former Niagara Riverlion, of course.
Jalen Tate hands off to Sam Muldrow. Thought about shooting 3. He's got Stover on him. Hands off to Tate. What a swing pass over to Joseph. Connor Wood, corner 3. Desmond Lee was all over him, though. Oh, and that one almost bounced up and in, but not the case.
Watch this matchup between Stover and Sam Muldrow here.
Here's Coron Williams. Swing pass to Skeet for 3. Yep, knocked it down. Jaron Skeet.
Great ball movement by the Edge.
Yeah, that's really where you see their offensive skill come out to play. Big Sam faked a 3, then stepped up and almost nailed the 2, but however, got fouled. He'll go to the line for the first time tonight, will Sam Muldrow. And you know, Zach, Sam Muldrow is really a guy, if the Riverlions want to be successful, we talk about it every broadcast, but Sam Muldrow is a guy they need to get going heading into the playoffs. He's been ice cold as of late, and if they want to be successful in any way, shape, or form, they got to get this guy going, and they got to get him going in the paint.
Well, that's right. And, you know, Sam Muldrow, and really this is something you can say about all big men, but you got to feed him early. You got to get him involved in the offense, and you have to make sure that he knows it's hard. You know, Ian, it's not easy to go in and bang inside.
Of course.
Right? And if you have to, he has to know that if you're going to send him inside the paint, that he's going to be rewarded with the ball. You know, and you get him in there, get him back to the basket, and get him kind of trying to pull the St. John's Edge defenders away from the three-point line and allow some of those lanes to open up for the Riverlions. Good job stepping around Anthony Stover on that one. Getting blocked, but knocking down a couple free throws. A good effort here so far for Sam Muldrow.
Yeah, that's a good start for Sam coming off the bench. Knocks down his first 2 free throws.
Calls all Riverlions wearing their best haircuts tonight. It was picture day this afternoon here at the Riverlions organization.
That's right. I noticed they all look pretty clean cut here tonight. Look at Alex Johnson, his first action. Fadeaway jumper won't go, and there's Sam grabbing the defensive rebound.
And then getting the offense right out. Good defense will lead to good offense.
Another fake 3 by Sam. Kicks it out to Cly in the corner. Now Sam, he'll shoot. No, he won't. He fakes it again. That's 3 in a row. And then hits the 2. He did the same move on Stover 3 times in a row, and Stover bit every time.
Is that fake and then step, almost like Jonas Valanciunas over there from Sam Muldrow.
No kidding.
Oh, Alex Johnson passes it to nobody and then collects it before it goes out of bounds. But they're going to call him for a double dribble.
Nice job there by the Riverlions. Once again, swarming on defense.
Well, that's right. And Hinkle and Johnson trying to talk this one over, make sure they are on the same page for the next play. A good break here for Niagara. Down just 1 point now with an opportunity to take the lead.
That's 14-13. The Edge lead in this one. 3:08 remaining in the opening quarter. Desmond Lee grabs a break. Xavier Ford is now in for the Edge. Muldrow jacks up a 3 with Hinkle in his face, and Sam Muldrow has started this game on fire.
If Sam Muldrow is feeling he can really knock down those three-pointers.
He is now 2 for 2 from the field with 7 points. Here's Alex Johnson around the perimeter, finds Vaughn Williams. And the defense of the Riverlions really swarming right now. Xavier Ford went up and tried to slam it down over top of Muldrow. He wasn't having any of that.
And that's where we need to Sam Muldrow to be on the defensive end. Good job there. You got the foul. He's going to go to the line. But do not allow the Edge to feel like it's easy to walk into the lane. We saw Charles Hinkle have a couple open looks going into the paint earlier in this quarter. Good defensive pressure there by Sam Muldrow.
That's right. You only got 1 team foul in the quarter. Send him to the line. See if he can hit both shots. If you didn't take that foul, he was probably going to get the easy 2 points. Ford knocks down the first one, no problem though, and extends. Riverlions still lead 16-15. He'll have a chance to tie it here. Xavier Ford does so, 16 apiece now. So 2:28 remaining here in the opening quarter. It's all tied up at 16 apiece, a low scoring quarter. Nice pass from Tate inside to Muldrow, who bobbled it, but then knocks down.
9 points, 3 for 3. That's where Sam Muldrow needs to be. Good pass through the lane.
Stover to Johnson. Alex Johnson now swings it over to Allenson, who's 1 for 1 from downtown. Gets it back to Johnson. Good hands by Jalen Tate. Strips the ball and now quickly brings it up for Niagara. Lobs it up. Adam Kleiss follows it up and puts it in. That was a breakdown of a play.
Job. That pass almost got picked off, went off the backboard, but then that's the importance. You got to stick with that play. Good job by the Riverlions, all going to the glass and crashing, being successful there. Good job by Adam Clyde.
20-16 now. Stover tries a pass inside, goes off. Stover thought it went off a Riverline. The ref saw it differently, so it will be Riverlions basketball and another blown possession for the Edge. The Riverlions really feeling it here in the last couple of minutes. They lead 20-16. 1:38 remaining in the first quarter here. Here's Tate, gets swarmed, tries to get it inside to Dwayne Smith, who can't handle the pass, and quickly up comes Xavier Ford.
That was Ford who attempted to pick off that Jalen Tate pass on the last offensive possession.
Allenson tries a deep 3, couldn't get it to go, but look at Alex Johnson working it inside with the big boys and coming out on top. Adam Klein now finds a lane, kicks it to Dwayne Smith. Oh, he gets denied by Stover, but they're going to call that goaltending and count the basket as well. You know what? That's not a good block by Stover, because I don't know if you saw that shot wasn't even going to hit the rim.
That's right. I don't think it was high enough to get up, and lucky break there for the Riverlions, as that one's going to count for 2 points for Dwayne Smith.
And Niagara leads 22-18 in the final minute here, the first quarter. Alex Johnson, the speedy guard of the Edge.
You know what, Ian, it's the momentum and the intensity that I'm seeing from the Riverlions that I'm most impressed by. They came out in their last game on last week flat. They did not have the intensity, and they got bit for it. The Island Storm were able to beat them last Friday night. So here they are, 6-day break, taking on a big-time team here in the Central Division and doing a good job so far.
And you know, these are the kind of games you want to take advantage of. You've had a lot of rest, and the Edge are coming off a game last night against KW, a game in which they won 96-91. You know, tired legs are going to set in eventually for the Edge, you would have to think. So it'll be important for the Riverlions to keep up this intensity that they've had in the first quarter. You know, consistent effort has been an issue for them this season. And
a little give and go between Stover and Alex Johnson. Stover, I don't think he was able to get that shot off before the shot clock expired.
I didn't think so either, Zach. However, the ref saw it differently, and Stover's going to go to the line. 38 seconds remaining here in the first quarter. Riverlions lead 22-18.
Sam Mulder asking for an explanation from the referee. Gets the explanation, gives him a thumbs up. Okay, I hear you.
Stover nails the first one. You see on the court now, Joe Rocca has checked into the game, and now Matt Marshall as well.
Matt Marshall, former Brock Badger here playing for the Niagara Riverlions. Spent a couple years in Scandinavia playing for a European basketball team, doing a really good job, and now a real opportunity for him to play here in front of a hometown crowd in Niagara. Burlington native.
He's gotten a lot of limited minutes so far in his Riverlions career, but he's been impactful when he's been on the court.
Well, and I don't know what this means or how much this means to a team, but he's always the first guy up to clap. Adam Clyde lays that one in on the baseline. But always the first guy to clap, always the first guy to cheer on his teammates, and really a good teammate is Matt Marshall.
So here's Alex Johnson inside to Stover. Under 20 seconds remaining. Coron Williams for three. That won't go. And what a rebound by Ford, but Adam Clyde, strong hands, gets his hand on the ball. A jump ball, it will be Edge basketball at the baseline here.
Matt Marshall took off Sam Muldrow on that last exchange, and so really no true center on the court for the Riverlions.
No, not at all. Very small.
The biggest guy they've got is Dwayne Smith, who has played center this year, but more typically a small forward. So kind of a mismatched lineup, and that causes the St. John's Edge to have to call a timeout and talk things over here. I wouldn't be surprised if they come out with a smaller lineup, if that's the method that the Riverlions are going to go with here.
Yeah, with 13 seconds remaining in the first quarter here, timeout called by the Edge. A good first quarter for the Riverlions. Very solid. You know, they haven't hit all of their shots, but in the last couple of minutes here, they've really started to heat up, and it all starts with the defense, the defensive intensity that they've displayed here.
Well, that's right. They've sent the Edge to the line. They haven't given them easy looks. They've cut out those empty looks those empty lanes that we saw open up for the Edge earlier in this quarter. And really, they have been able to use that strong defensive intensity to get good pressure coming down the court on the offensive end after misses and putting themselves in positions where they're able to execute the offense that they want to execute. That's not something that we saw last week, Ian. Last week it appeared that the Riverlions struggled. They were able to get some good looks and shots, but it really was on the openings that the Island Storm were able to give them. That's not the basketball they want to play. They want to be able to come down here and dictate how the possession is going to go. They've done a good job of that so far.
Yeah, much different team here tonight that we're seeing opposed to last week. And a big difference in these past two games is, I know we've talked about already, it's Sam Muldrow. He was absolutely invisible in their last loss against the Island Storm. And here tonight, he's 3 for 3, 9 points, 1 for 1 from three-point range. They need that kind of effort from Sam every night to be in contention, because he is just such a valuable player for the Riverlions. They rely on him inside and outside. He can knock down threes, he can grab rebounds, he blocks, he plays great defense. He's one of their most valuable players. He hasn't been playing like it in the last few games, but looks like he's bringing his A game tonight.
That's right. Sam Muldrow holds the record for all-time blocks for the Niagara Riverlions. Holds the record for all-time blocks. Ooh, as Williams gets that one to go down. For the South Carolina Gamecocks.
So this quarter ends with a three from Coron Williams and cuts the deficit for the Edge to just 1 point. The Riverlions lead 24-23. And that is what the Edge can do. They're such a good scoring basketball team. They can score with the best of them.
Well, that's right. They've made three-pointers so far in this game. They're 3 for 8, 37.5%. The Riverlions just 1 for 6. Sam Muldrow's three-pointer, the only three-pointer made by Niagara so far tonight.
It's really important for the Riverlions to not get comfortable in this game.
Well, that's right. And sometimes, Ian, that happens too often. When the Riverlions are able to make a couple three-pointers earlier in the game, they start relying on three-pointers to get their offense going, and they don't necessarily stick to the game plan in terms of driving the lane, getting to the paint. Guys like Jalen Tate being able to find his teammates inside, and Payen-Boucard driving to the lane. that's essential for this team to do really well. And sometimes when those three-pointers fall early, they sort of abandon what they need to do and rely on their three-point shooting. And so hopefully here, they haven't had the most success from the three-point line, but they've had a lot of success inside tonight. Hopefully that is the emphasis and game plan here in the second quarter.
Well, you would think it would have to be, Zach, because when the River Lions have had their success, winning that is, they have been outstanding in the paint and getting players in the paint and getting them going up and around the rim. And what that does is it helps you open things up on the outside. It helps guys like Connor Wood and Joe Rocca hit threes. And when you can do both of those things, that's when the River Lions are a really, really tough basketball team to beat. And it looks like they're starting to do that. They're starting to figure that out, get the ball inside and work it in the paint. They've done it tonight so far, and they're beating one of the better teams in the NBLC by just 1 point, however. And as we mentioned, it'll be really important for Niagara to keep up the consistency and the effort that they showed in that first quarter. We've seen the River Lions, come out in one quarter and look like a totally different team than another quarter. They'll come out with effort and firing on all cylinders, and then a few minutes later, they'll just fall asleep, it seems. But as we mentioned,
9 points for Sam Muldrow in that first quarter. Like we said, off the bench, a huge effort from him. And in the starting line, it's Devontae Pollard with 5 points, 2 rebounds, and an assist. On the St. John's Edge side, Charles Hinkle, those 4 points, he had those 4 points real early and looked very dominant in a way that it didn't really appear that the River Lions were going to be able to take advantage or able to be closed down. But of course, another break for the River Lions here. Obviously, the National Basketball League of Canada suspended St. John's Edge Carl English 1 game for a culmination of technical fouls. We're at that point of the season where those kind of things really start to matter, how well you've been able to stay out of the referees' bad books throughout the year.
Yeah, and again, we talked about the River Lions need to take advantage of, the situation at hand. The Edge are coming off a back-to-back game. They won in the KW last night. Tired legs might come into play here for the Edge, and they're without one of the best players in the NBLC, Carl English. So, really important for the River Lions to take advantage of the situation and come out with a win here tonight.
Now, no Grandy Glaze in that first quarter for the St. John's Edge. Interesting, the River Lions, we've been talking throughout this year, do not have, Sam Muldrow and Devontae Pollard, excellent players on the offensive end, excellent defenders as well, but not necessarily as thick and strong in the shoulders as a guy like Randy Glaze. And so no appearance from him in the first quarter. It'll be interesting to see how the Edge try to utilize him against the River Lions front court.
That's right, and they still got Ryan Reed as well. There he is with the basketball, backs in, gets a nice pass into Xavier Ford, and then Chris Joseph with a beautiful block.
Yeah, good job not fouling on that play.
Clyde tries to get it to Joseph, and it goes through his hands, but then Dwayne Smith steals it back.
And Adam Clyde, after that bad pass, gives it right back to Chris Joseph.
Crazy sequence here. River Lions look to cash in. Joseph, deep three. Oh, and it won't go, and he's really struggled the last couple of games from downtown. Quickly up the court goes Alex Johnson. Goes out of bounds. Inbound play, Williams to Reed. 16 on the shot clock here. There's Alex Johnson. Now Williams drives, gets blocked by Chris Joseph. Great positioning by the River Lions on defense. Wally Allenson tries to go up for the rebound, has some words for the ref. And now Adam Clyde has all day to shoot. Oh, and it bounces around and won't go in, so the River Lions continue to really struggle.
Like all of the St. John's Edge kind of forgot about him on that play. They all came right to the glass thinking he'd pass it inside. Adam Clyde decided, no, I'm going to take that one. Unsuccessful, and then River Lions get kind of a break as the St. John's Edge turn the ball over again here. That's their 6th turnover already in this game, just 3 for the River Lions.
Yeah, some sloppy basketball here from the Edge and the River Lions, really. Niagara 1 for 8 from beyond the arc tonight. Shots just not falling from downtown. He's got Johnson all over him. Spins around, tries to find a man inside. Now does. Here's Joseph. Drives, spins, takes the contact, and gets fouled.
Good job by Chris Joseph. That is a guy who has natural, not even natural, those are hard-earned skills, but skills that, sometimes he's able to display one, or he's got a couple things in his bag of tricks there that show, hey, I played in the National Basketball Association. I can get things done here around the court. Good job by Chris Joseph there, getting to the free throw line for 2 shots.
Yeah, he's been a great addition for the River Lions. You know, he's had flashes of brilliance for this team. Hasn't really found his consistency yet, but, you know, coming to a new team, a new league,
well, you know,
growing pains are going to happen.
Well, that's right. He was playing in a league up until November, and so he had a couple months off here before he joined the River Lions.
That's right.
It may take a little bit of time for him to find his stroke, but like you said, heading into the playoffs is when you want to be playing your best basketball here in the National Basketball League of Canada.
Alex Johnson now, 10 on the shot clock. Pulls up deep, 2. Yep, knocks it down. And we're going to get a foul on... The basket will count. However, there's going to be a foul on the edge. It's Ryan Reed with the foul. The basket did count, though. A beautiful fadeaway jumper, a deep 2 from Alex Johnson.
All tied up here at 25 points apiece.
Again, a pretty low-scoring game, Zach. No team has really found their groove offensively, I would say. Joseph trying to do that for Niagara. Oh, and the left-handed finish won't finish.
Yeah, just came in a little bit too strong. I guess he looked so confident and comfortable there in the air for a second.
Xavier Ford with a nice drive. Look at Wally Ellison. That guy can hop. Couldn't snag the rebound, but he was up over almost everybody. Rock, a corner 3 all day to shoot. He's a sharpshooter, and yes, sir, he nails it.
Just the second three-pointer of the game for the River Lions on their 12th attempt. Big bucket for River Lions here.
Joe Rocker, really a guy that's come into his own these last month or so, eh, Zach?
Well, that's right. He was a teammate with Connor Wood on that national championship team for the Carleton Ravens last year. Now, after a couple, month-long injury, finding his shooting stroke here for the River Lions.
Johnson behind the back crossover. Drives, loses the handle, and the shot clock expires. It'll be River Lions basketball. Great defense for the River Lions to start this game. Really limiting one of the highest scoring offenses in all of basketball.
Well, that's right. That's the third time in this game we've seen the River Lions force the Edge to use all 24 seconds of the shot clock and either have to turn it over or not get a shot that they really wanted to. Ryan Reed there, that ball popped right out of his hands, not able to go up. Another turnover for the Edge. That's number 7.
And now Devontae Pollard gets stripped by Hinkle, but there's Adam Cly to bail him out. Another errant pass, but Pollard gets another break and lays it in.
How many times have we seen that in this game already, Ian? And the River Lions have been able to clean up their mistakes so well.
The passing has really been wonky here tonight. A lot of miscommunication, another one. But however, they're going to get a foul on Dwayne Smith.
That's a tough one. Dwayne Smith knew it. He tried to keep himself off it. He was in a good spot because he created so much difficulty that ball was going to go out of bounds. Fortunately, he bailed the Edge out there, and they're going to get to maintain possession.
Here comes a guy that I think the River Lions are going to have fits trying to cover. Grandy Glaze checks into the game. He's second in the NBL in field goal percentage. Scores a lot of his points from inside the paint there, and he is a big boy to deal with inside. Warren Williams tries to get it over to Skeet. He does. Now outside to Lee. Desmond Lee checks back into the game here. First action since the opening quarter. Goes around Muldrow, passes inside the Glaze. Look at the ball movement. Skeet for 3. Bang! No, that was pretty.
It's like all 5 River Lions knew that they got caught out of position on that one. Didn't even make an attempt. Skeet all day to shoot it.
Rocca with a hand in his face, and he responds. Joe Rocca 2 for 2 from beyond the arc. 33-28. Skeet trying to respond, and he does. Back and forth they go. Jaron Skeet is feeling it. I think it's important for the River Lions here to slow things down, not try to go shot for shot.
That's right. You don't need to compete like that. Just operate your offense.
Wow, Devontae Pollard missed a wide open layup there and then couldn't get the handle on his rebound.
Another tough break. He's doing all he can, but not able to get it to go.
Missed opportunity there, and the Edge are going to make you pay.
And that one's on Devontae Pollard. He was slow coming back after that mistake, and that allowed that player to be wide open in the paint to get that extra offensive rebound and then 2 points.
So things opening up here a little bit in the Lions' den.
Well, and here's Grandy Glaze on the court for the St. John's Edge.
Oh, nice move by Pollard, making up for his last mistake. Great move inside, and good touch off the glass as well. River Lions lead, 35-33. Desmond Lee, he jacks up a 3. Nope, won't go, and there's Boucard.
Oh, great block there by Glaze to stop Chris Joseph from trying to close out on him.
Sam pulls up with Glaze in his face. That one won't go, his first miss of the evening. And then Payen-Boucard, he's really struggling with those offensive rebounds here tonight. Multiple times I've seen Boucard go up and lose the handle of it. A foul, the refs are conferring.
Yeah, a couple players calling for a travel. Obviously, those players are members of the Niagara River Lions, and they're going to call a foul. Looks like that one's going to be on Payen-Boucard. No, sorry, on Chris Joseph.
Joseph's going to grab some pine after that foul. Jalen Tate checks back into the game. I like the looks of this 5 on the court right now for the Riverlions. A little bit of everything.
That's right. You know, Jalen Tate can knock those shots down. Joe Rocca, excellent. Guillaume Payen-Boucard can get to the rim, and then the 2 big guys in the center, Sam Muldrow and Devontae Pollard.
You know, we talked about Sam Muldrow being a guy the Riverlions need to get going, but how about Guillaume Payen-Boucard? You know, he's the guy. He's the only Riverlions to score 30 points this year.
That's right. He is a guy that can get to the rim in a real incredible way, but that's not something we've seen in the last little while in this season, and so going to need to step it up. Good foul there by Charles Hinkle to slow that one down after the turnover, and Devontae Pollard was coming out of that defense into offensive transition like a racehorse, and so slowing things down, allowing the Edge to get back and make sure that this is a half-court possession.
And, you know, back to Boucard for a second, Zach. You know, he's in a bit of an offensive slump, but, you know, he never slumps on defense. This is a guy that brings it on defense every night, goes up and gets those tough earned rebounds, so even when he's not scoring and doing things offensively, he does a great job of doing the little things right.
That's right.
5-tool basketball player, tough break there for the Riverlions. Another errant pass. What's going on here tonight?
Jalen Tate trying to catch Sam Muldrow out by the 3-point line, just slipped past him, and then they had to hustle back down the court. It's going to be Skeet inbounding the ball with a fresh 24 for the Edge.
Both teams looking a little out of sync tonight, I would have to say. Here's Glaze. Hinkle for 3. Won't go, and rebound falls into Jalen Tate's hands, and here we go for the Riverlions. Tate, corner 3, Rocca. Oh, he almost made it.
He's going to go to the line, though, for 3 free throw attempts after the St. John's Edge. Corin Williams getting his hand over, you know, conflicting with Joe Rocca's hands. That's a free throw, but not before the timeout on the court. This is going to be the media timeout. Opportunity for us here as a couple members of the media to recap what's been going on in this game. So far, so good for the home team. Like, they are getting the looks that they want on the offensive end. Got to clean up a couple mistakes defensively, though.
Yeah, they got to clean up things defensively, and, you know, I'd really like to see their passes a little.
That's
you know
right,
what they're doing, Zach? You know what they're doing? Jalen Tate, he's such a good passer, but he's almost making the difficult pass before the easy pass here tonight. Something, you know, that I haven't seen much from him. He's so good. He's a rookie in this league. But I think right now they need to take the easy play over the difficult play.
That's right.
Take the looks that they're giving you. And you know what, Joe Rock has been excellent in this quarter. A guy that's really injected life into this Riverlions team in the last few games. And what a shooter he is from beyond the arc. He's been phenomenal.
I think you're right, Ian. I think it's going to be really important for the Riverlions to be a little bit, you're right, crisper with their passes. And I want to see more ball movement on the offensive end. You know, when they have... Look at the success that the St. John's Edge have had coming from ball movement in this game. They've seen Skeet get 2 wide open 3-pointers, and he's made both of them. And that has come because the Riverlions were caught out of position from good ball movement. You know, and we need to see the Riverlions match that intensity in terms of ball movement around the court, and not just around the 3-point line, though. They got to get that ball movement inside as well.
They got to move it inside. That's exactly right, Zach. When the Riverlions, we've said it before, when the Riverlions have their most success, they are doing things right in the paint, because it opens things up for their sharpshooters like Joe Rocca, Connor Wood, etc., etc. Sam Muldrow, another one that can hit some threes. He's shown that here tonight, but I'd like to start seeing him bang inside a little bit more. They could use his 6'10" frame underneath the basket.
That's right. Sorry, Jared Skeet's got 3 3-pointers, and he's 3 for 5 from beyond the arc, leading the Edge with 9 points.
So Rocca has 3 shots here after getting fouled from the corner beyond the arc. He knocks down the first 2. And nails all 3. Very confident looking Joe Rocca.
Right there. It wasn't necessarily the hardest foul in the books, but the Riverlions are going to take it. Joe Rocca's got 3 points from the free throw line.
Niagara leads by 5 here with 5:50 remaining in the opening half. Here's Skeet, the hottest shooter for the Edge so far in this game. To Glaze, blows right by Pollard, kicks it out to Williams. And the 3 won't go. Can the Riverlions get there? And they can. Joe Rocca saves that one.
Glaze should have gone right up into the rim on that one. He had Pollard beat. He could have gone up.
Yeah, interesting decision. Oh, what a swat by Allenson.
Those hops by Wally Allenson are incredible. He got over his player.
Uh-oh, Zach. Jalen Tate's on the ground in some discomfort. He's up now, but That would not be good for the
Jalen
Riverlions.
Tate is not a player that the Riverlions can afford to be injured down the stretch of the season. Their hopes and successes will rest in how well he's able to execute his offense and get his teammates involved. He's gripping his wrist.
Yeah, that's bad news. He has to shoot a free throw here. Let's see how he looks. Usually a fantastic free throw shooter is Jalen Tate. Riverlions lead 38-33 here. Nails the first one, so he can't be too hurt, hopefully. Wally Ellenson chatting with the official here right in front of us, trying to get an explanation on the foul there. He thought he got all ball.
A couple of changes here for the Edges. Alex Johnson ready to check in.
So good news.
Ryan Reed taking off Blaze, and Williams heads to the bench.
So good news for the Riverlions. Jalen Tate still flexing his elbow there, his bicep.
Sure he's okay. That's his left arm as Jaron Skeet brings the ball up to court.
Johnson to Skeet, thought about shooting, now goes back to Johnson, who does shoot. Deep three, won't go, but the rebound, that's the multiple times.
White right all the way through the lane, all the way out back to him, and that's that second chance opportunity, and then 3 points for Ellenson. Not a good defensive pressure there for the Riverlions. That ball came all the way out to the three-point line, not obstructed.
Yeah, Ellenson makes them pay. Sam Muldrow thought about shooting a three there, thought better of it. Now Tate goes around the perimeter, inside to Muldrow for two, knocks it down.
That's a good shot. Giving up that three-pointer, kind of contested.
That's right, Zach.
And then letting that play develop. Jalen Tate collects those 2 defenders, and then he's wide open inside for a better shot. Good job.
You know, we've seen this year when the Riverlions get a three-pointer scored on them, it's almost like they come back and feel like they have to shoot a three-pointer right away.
That's
and
right.
A good job by Sam deferring to Tate there. Oh, in and out from Joe Rocca. That's a tough one.
With the trust that he's going to get the ball back. That's trust with the point guard, you know?
That's right. So good sequence there for the Riverlions. Joe Rocca almost nailed that three-pointer. Lively rims here tonight, Zach. Jalen Tate balls right over Skeet, but can't get the basketball.
Saying, hey, I wasn't doing anything. I was just standing by myself.
Johnson has all day to shoot. Basket won't count because Devontae Pollard got fouled in the paint. It will be Riverlions basketball, and that's the hard. 6th team foul.
Yeah, that one's going to go against Ellenson, and that's a disappointment for the St. John's Edge because Alex Johnson was wide open. He was able to make that shot. Fortunately, a foul away from the play is going to take away those 3 points. Riverlions now with a 6-point lead with 4 minutes to go.
Well, they're giving that foul to Pollard, but not counting the basket, and it will remain Edge's basketball. Interesting.
Too wide.
Just over 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. A first half that sees Niagara lead 42-36 so far. Here's Alex Johnson, hands off to Skeet, who's been hot from downtown. He drives, nice Euro step move, pass inside to Reed, and that was beautiful.
That's the ball movement the Riverlions need to see on the offensive end. Good pass into the paint.
Skeet is hurt, and he goes down, grabbing his knee. That is bad news for the Edge, and he was in some discomfort.
That was a non.
That was a non-contact injury, and those are the worst. Just pray that Jaron Skeet is all right, and that it's just a stinger, but he is in some discomfort on the court right now. You never want to see that. However, he's getting up right away, so that's good. See how much weight he's able to put on his leg here.
Carried by 2 teammates here.
Not putting any weight on that right leg. Oh, man.
That's a tough break. Jaron Skeet with a really incredible game so far. He's leading the St. John's Edge with 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. We'll see here if anything specific happened.
So this is really going to test the depth of the Edge.
No, you know, that came on the offensive possession. After he took that shot, it looked like he landed perhaps awkwardly and then came by. And I don't know if he was clutching, you know, I'm not sure whether it was his ankle or his knee, but it looked like he was clutching his knee when he was on the ground. So a really tough break for the Edge.
We hope that Jaron Skeet is okay.
So you never wish any player to be injured here in the NBL's Canada. Hinkle kind of bowled over Pollard on that one. We'll have to see which way this goes.
Looks like they're giving it to Pollard.
Yeah, that's right, Devontae Pollard. 5th team foul for the Riverlions. Both teams now with 5 fouls with 3.5 minutes to go in the quarter, so perhaps a couple chances here for some teams to get forced to the free throw line.
That's definitely going to become a factor, you would think. Lots of time left in this half. Williams, beautiful pass inside to Johnson, who gets it over to Hinkle. Again, too easy.
That's right, Hinkle
breakdown on defense.
Hinkle 4 for 8, 8 points tonight. And Alex Johnson gets called for a foul right in front of us here, Ian.
So here we go. River Lions will now be in the bonus from here on out.
Obviously not an intentional foul. That's not something you want to give up so early in the possession here coming down the court. So break here for the River Lions.
Monte Pollard grabs a seat. Dwayne Smith checks into the game. There's Chris Joseph, gets it inside to Jalen Tate. Looking for an open man, finds Muljo, thought about shooting three.
It's almost like it's automatic for him to give that fake up when he's at the three-point line.
Look at him drive inside, and he just can't get it to drop. But you got to love to see that effort of Sam driving inside and putting up those shots. He's got to continue to do that, not get discouraged. Ryan Reed spins around on Muljo. Sam with the block, and then that turns into a rebound from Dwayne Smith, and up comes Niagara. Another good defensive effort. Tate tries to get that inside to Joseph. He gets fouled, so Joseph will go to the line because the River Lions are in the bonus here with 2:54 remaining. They lead 42-40.
4-0 run here for the Edge. So before those two free throws, River Lions called timeout to talk things over here with 2 minutes, 54 seconds to go. The Edge, a couple of looks that were a little bit too easy on the offensive end for the St. John's Edge. You know, Ian, those two looks on the offensive end that gave them those 4 points, those came off passes inside the paint. That's what we saw the River Lions do so well at the beginning of the season. You know, we'd see Jalen Tate drive through a pick and roll and then find somebody cutting to the net inside the lane for a good pass. That's not something that we've seen them be able to do throughout the second half of the season. That's something the opposing teams have done a good job of taking away.
Yeah, and they haven't. You're right, Zach. They haven't been successful with that this season, and you know they were better at it at the start of this year. You know they were pounding the paint, and then you know some changeover in roster and other things happened. You know, but I think they're getting back to those roots now, and it's really paying off. Again, they lead 42-40 over one of the strongest teams in the NBLC, albeit without Carl English and now Jaron Skeet. However, they're doing a good job, a good effort defensively. They've really held Charles Hinkle in check. He's just 3 for 7 from that field.
Right. Now, Jaron Skeet walking. He's on his own 2 feet. He's in the huddle here. He's standing underneath his own weight. So he's giving a thumbs up to the training staff, it looks like, or to somebody on the other side of the court. So hopefully that spells good news.
Well, you know what? The Edge are going to need him here tonight. He's been their hottest player, as we mentioned. He's 3 for 5 from the field. He's only attempted shots from the 3-point range. And he's knocked down 3 of them. He's got 9 points. That leads the team. As for the River Lions, Sam Muljo, he leads them with 11 points, 4 for 5 from the field for Big Sam. Joe Rocca, he's 2 for 2 from 3-point range. Again, he's a guy that's really turned it on in the last couple of games for Niagara. Former Carleton Raven. Joseph coming out of the timeout, misses his first free throw. He's struggling from the line tonight. Just 1 for 3 now from the charity stripe. Knocks that one down though and extends the River Lions lead to 3. Warren Williams on in place with Jaron Skeet, who seems to be okay. He's on his feet. As we said, that's a good sign. Oh, nice turnaround jumper from Xavier Ford.
A really good job there. Nothing that the River Lions defense could have done on that possession.
Here's Joseph. Sam Muljo back to Joseph. Now back to Sam Muljo. Now back to Joseph. He drives. Goes up and over Xavier Ford and finishes.
And a little bit of patience there for the River Lions. Good job to see them let that play develop.
Oh, Wally Ellenson from downtown.
No development needed for Wally Ellenson. Big bucket there. Tie game, 45-45.
And now he's 3 for 4 from beyond the arc. Sam now jacks up a 3. That's wide.
You know what, Ian? I think that's you just said that a couple minutes ago. Sometimes the River Lions, after a made three-pointer on the defensive end, will come down feeling like they need to jack one up too. Quick possession there.
But this is the exact team you do not want to trade shot for shot with. Sam going inside the paint. Oh, that one went off the side of the backboard. Tough break for Sam. Now Ellenson thought about shooting, gets completely faked out by Joseph.
Chris Joseph, it looks like he reached in and got a foul on that one. That's his foul, and that's the 7th team foul. So Edge going to the free throw line.
Shaking his head. Wally Ellenson completely faked him out. And now the Edge are in the bonus as well. with 1:42 remaining here in the half.
That's right, sorry, yes. That's the 16th foul for the River Lions.
Here's Hinkle. Corin Williams directing traffic. Slows things down. Hinkle inside to Reed.
Great ball. But look at that Ford.
Look at
Xavier
that.
Ford coming in wide open. We can see that play developing a mile away.
Yeah, we saw
Good
it.
job.
River Lions didn't. A couple times when the Edge really start to move the basketball, it looks like the River Lions kind of lose sight of their coverage as Dwayne Smith lays the basket up.
Good job by Smith getting that bucket.
47 apiece here, just over a minute remaining in the half. Corin Williams. Xavier Ford drives the baseline. Oh, what a move inside by Xavier Ford.
Feel a little bit of confidence. Let's go, Xavier Ford says. 4 quick points here for the forward.
Here's Tate. Tries to lob it into Dwayne Smith, and that one gets tipped right to Wally Ellenson. Fast break. Here's Hinkle. Back to Ellenson. Gets blocked by Joseph, but it will be a foul.
You know, that's another situation. A couple times we've seen this in this half. I'm not sure Wally Ellenson is going to be able to get that shot to go. He seemed a little bit below the rim coming in, but Chris Joseph bails him out, sends him to the free throw line.
Hinkle makes him pay. Knocks down both of the free throws. And all of a sudden, the Edge are up to a 5-point lead. It looked like the River Lions were kind of taking control here just a few minutes ago.
Oh, and yeah, things have been all Edge for the last couple of minutes. River Lions led by 4. It was 42-36, led by 6 points. Now trail by 5 after a real run here by the Edge.
And that's what the Edge can do. And another foul.
That one's on Matt Marshall after Hinkle was in the air, bailing Hinkle out. Now he's going to get to go to the free throw line for 2 shots. His first trip of the night. He's got 8 points already, 4 for 8.
You know what, Zach? Things are unraveling a bit here for the River Lions. I think they just want to get to halftime at this point.
Well, especially knowing that the Edge played last night against the KW Titans. You know, they
right.
were able to get the win, a big win. But, you know, now can the River Lions, they're limping here. For the River Lions are limping into this halftime. Are they going to be able to regroup, refocus, and really run the Edge off the court here in the second half?
Well, they're going to need to. They showed flashes of a really good game plan here tonight. And they just haven't been able to execute it consistently, and that's been the issue all season long, really.
Hinkle takes a moment, ties up those laces.
But this is not a team that you can let get back into the basketball game. The River Lions look like they had things a bit under control. You know, they're playing consistently on defense. That defensive consistency has evaporated in the last couple of minutes here. And they're going to look for something to hang their hat on before the half. Now with those last couple of fouls, the Edge lead 54-47. 7-point lead for the Edge. Miscommunication there between the official and St. John's head coach. The official thought
He wanted to call timeout now.
that's right.
No. If the River Lions make it, call timeout.
Here's Tate, Rocca. Good D by Ellenson. Rocca goes all the way around the baseline. Gets it to Tate beyond the arc. Now he drives. Hands off to Dwayne Smith, who gets fouled. Oh, and he almost gets the bucket to go.
Good pressure, and this is where those free throws, you know, we talked about with 4 minutes left, both teams near the bonus. Now, both teams have had a couple extra trips to the free throw line that they wouldn't have necessarily had otherwise.
No, that was a really good job by the River Lions because the Edge played really good defense on that possession. They're really scoring, but I love that the River Lions were able to fight through that pressure, make a nice short pass inside to Dwayne Smith. So we're hearing now Chris Joseph was ejected from the game.
Not sure, we'll have to do some digging at halftime and see what we can bring back to fans here on our YouTube channel. Thanks so much for listening to Ian Dominigato. I'm Zach Dadson bringing the call here as this half ticks away.
Here's Corin Williams. 3 remaining in the half, and a good job by Dwayne Smith there. Lively hands, knocks it out of bounds.
Just off the fingertips.
Oh, they're calling that out of bounds on the Edge. It must have went off of Dwayne Smith, then back off of an Edge player. Perhaps
a break here for the River Lions. I felt like that one went off Dwayne Smith. Referee must have seen an extra touch that we didn't see here from the scorer's table. So timeout on the court, 2.8 seconds to go. This is one of those use it or lose it timeouts. 7-point lead now. Don't forget, Ian, River Lions led 42-36. So since then, it's an 18-5 run for the St. John's Edge.
That's right, Niagara, you know, kind of struggling these last couple of minutes, limping into halftime. But as we mentioned, the Edge played last night in Kitchener-Waterloo. So it'll be interesting to see how they handle the third and fourth quarter. Both teams getting ready to file back out here for the final 2 seconds of the first half. It'll be Riverlions basketball. We'll have to see if they've drawn something up with 2 seconds remaining here. And, I think it would go a long way if they were somehow able to get a basket to go before halftime. Give them a little momentum, a little bit of confidence going into the half after the last couple of minutes didn't really go their way. So both teams back on the court now. My apologies, it will be Edge basketball here. I think that's what Joe Rasso's saying. He said it was, the ref said it was Riverlions basketball, and now they come back out. And the Edge, what a play! That was something beautiful from
Coach
Corin
Ross
Williams.
is coming over here looking for an explanation. Hey, you changed your mind. Referees can change their mind if they make a mistake. We've seen that happen here in the National Basketball League of Canada. But excellent job by the Edge there, getting that shot off in the air. Really incredible job.
But you know what? I think Joe Rasso has a case here. It was a timeout. He had his team prepared for an offensive possession, for having the basketball. And then they come back out, and it's St. John's Edge ball. So I think Joe Rasso has a case here to be a little bit upset. However, either way, the Edge, with a phenomenal finish to that first half. They lead 56-47 after being down for most of that third quarter. They really came on at the end. For Zach Dadson, I'm Ian Dominigata. We'll be back with second half action from the Meridian Center, St. John's Edge, and the Niagara Riverlions, right here from the Lions Den. We'll talk to you in a few. Welcome back to the Meridian Center in downtown St. Catharines, Ontario. Second half action between the St. John's Edge and the Niagara River Lions is just about to get underway here. The Edge, after a strong last couple of minutes to that second quarter lead, 56-47. A wild end to that second quarter, to say the least, for the River Lions. Chris Joseph was teed up, and the Edge really went on a run there.
Yeah, 20-5 run in to finish that quarter. River Lions led 42-36. St. John's Edge now holding quite the lead here, up 9 points.
And Wally Ellenson starting things off for the Edge, starting where they left off here.
Just like that, that lead becomes 11 points. We have the good fortune here, Ian. It was picture day earlier here at the Meridian broadcast. And the Niagara River Lions, we have the opportunity here of being joined by one of the member of the ownership team, Richard Pecco. Richard, thanks so much for joining us here.
Hey, Zach, no problem. Long time no be on the YouTube.
Yeah, we've missed you here. You know what? River Lions team here now down the stretch in their final couple games of the season. How do you feel that this season has unrolled so far for this team?
Well, obviously, we'd like to be better than fourth place overall. And down, stuck, make that stuck 11 right now, so it's not going too well. But at least we're going to make the playoffs, thank goodness. And maybe we can cause a little bit of damage, a little scare there. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to promise anything to the fans, but anything can happen in the playoffs, especially in a short 5-game series in the first round. Maybe you can steal a game on the road and then hold court here at home. I don't know.
That's right. You know, we've seen this River Lions team get really hot a couple of times. Remember 2 weeks ago, they scored 12 three-pointers in that first half. They were really firing. If this team can get those shots to go, they're going to be a team to be reckoned with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know, that's what they all say. You got to make your shots to win games. We are fairly solid on the defense. It seems to be an offensive struggle all year long.
Now, Rich, I have a question for you. I think Zach and I have someone definitely in mind, but you know, the season's wrapping up a little bit here. Who has impressed you the most this season on the River Lions?
Oh, no. Geez, that's loud, man. No doubt. I think it's Jalen Tate.
Yeah.
He started real slow. Obviously, Omar Strong was the starting point guard at the beginning of the year. Traded him away, and Tate's really stepped up. I think by far the most impressive player.
Ellenson with another big three-pointer there. And, you know, that's something we talked about a lot, Richard, about how well Jalen Tate has been able to not only knock down shots himself, but really feed his teammates and get them going.
Yeah, exactly. And look, right there you go.
On cue, Mr. Jalen Tate.
Yeah. Went by the defense, beat his man on the right-hand side, finished with the layup.
And as a professional basketball rookie as well. That's what's been so impressive.
Yeah.
Jalen Tate playing his collegiate basketball at the University of Illinois. Not a big-time player at the University of Illinois, though, choosing to go to a big school close to home so his family could be involved in that process. Now showing here with the River Lions that he will have a successful professional basketball career.
Yeah, I think he's really become a fan favorite here in Niagara as well, Jalen Tate. And like you said, Zach, his ability to distribute the basketball, it's just such a good brand for children to look up to, you know, young basketball players.
And solid defense, too,
Yeah.
because when you look at the other point guards, they're not lighting them up for anything like that. This is one of the battles on the court that we win night in and night out,
That's
90% of the time, I'd say.
Ryan Reed getting called for a foul there as Jalen Tate trying to get around him.
I just got to say, Erica, if my daughter's at home, she's got to be going to sleep at 9 o'clock, so you can listen to this.
St. John's Edge fans are going to be happy here to see Skeet back on the court for the St. John's Edge. He hyperextended what looked like his knee earlier in this first half, did not return, but now back here on the court in the second half.
What a job by Jalen Tate, cutting to the basket, putting the team on his back right now as the Edge start to pull away. Jalen Tate doing his best to keep that from happening. 10-point deficit now. He's going to try to make that a 9 here.
With the old school three-pointer.
That's right.
The traditional three-point play here for Jalen Tate. You know, we've seen, you know, we talked about he's able to pass the ball really well, but sometimes he knows, it's like he knows when his team needs him to take over here and really drive to the net. Good job here by Jalen Tate getting those 3 points.
You know, exactly, Zach. He's a pass-first point guard, but he knows that when he needs to score and he needs to put this team on his back, he can do that too, as he's done in the last couple of minutes here.
And you know what? You guys are always on the broadcast, always being professionals. I always come out here, what's new in your lives? What's happened? It's been 2-3 months. For the ladies out there, just so you know, Zach Datson's getting married.
Getting married in June.
And he had a bachelor party. Zach, tell us about that. It was very interesting.
Great time. I
Very
went to
interesting.
the Ohio State University to catch the Buckeyes take on the Iowa State Hawkeyes, and got to sneak down onto the court, led the OHIO chant and had a really great time with 8 of my best buds.
And just for those other people, I did not go on this, but Zach told me about it, that he did not know where he was going. It was
That's
a
right,
surprise.
had no idea.
And there's the Niagara Riverline's Wally Ellenson killer. He did it last game against us, and today he's already dropped down some
Richard,
threes.
of course, we remember Wally Ellenson as a member of the Windsor Express over the last couple of years, being able to knock it down.
Oh, huge play by Skeet coming back from injury. He's going to have a chance to make a three-point play. Wow. As you said, Allenson, he's all of a sudden up to 19 points. He's 5 for 6 from three-point range.
I loved Wally Ellenson on the Windsor Express last year. He was a solid player. I know due to financial reasons they couldn't afford to re-sign him, and he was out of the league for a bit, and St. John's picked him up with just a week or two before the season to back up Carl English. Obviously tonight Carl's not here because of his double or triple technicals and stuff, and Wally's filling the thing. And for some of the Niagara Riverlions fans, remember last year, Skeet lit us up from Cape Breton. He had a huge game against us when we were out there.
That's right. Remember in that game, we were leading by quite a lot at the beginning of the game, and then those Cape Breton Highlanders came storming back to take away that opportunity for a win on the road.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, Zach Dotson and I were on the road trip for that
That's
game,
right.
That was in Cape Breton. One of the least exciting places in the world. If not the least.
So the Riverlions looking to scrape together a couple good possessions. Sam Muldrow trying to do that.
That's way
Allenson,
off.
That one was way wide. Just his second miss from beyond the arc tonight, and it was a bad one.
Yeah, but you handle those Boo Birds better when you're up, 12 points on us right now.
Yeah, they really came out firing in this third quarter.
What's up with Ian? Ian getting married or anything like that? No?
No, not yet. I've been dating my girlfriend for 7 years.
Oh, my goodness.
Haven't tied the knot yet. No.
Does she listen to the broadcast, Ian?
Sometimes. I don't know if she's
Okay, I won't give you
listening
my recommendation on what to do here.
tonight. Okay.
You got 2 things to do in your life now.
Sometimes
Two choices, like the Matrix.
Skeet inside to Hinkle. They're going to get a foul there on Tate by the looks of it.
We'll see if they call that one a shooting foul.
After the first half, Zach, we were talking about something sitting here that happened on the side. I see people are writing about it on YouTube. The lady's okay. It actually was an employee here at the Meridian Center, wasn't a fan. And they're just taking care of her in the back. So for those of you out there here, Brad Stone and Michael Kennedy, or I don't know who's here writing stuff, the lady is an employee of the Meridian Center, and everything's been taken care of in the back there with our training staff to fix her up in that unfortunate incident.
So 5 on the shot clock here. Riverlions looking for a big stop. Skeet, deep 2. Won't go, and there's Payen-Boucard for the rebound. He does not have a bucket here tonight.
That's where we've seen Guillaume Payen-Boucard be so good, efficient at collecting those defensive rebounds and then having the ball handling abilities to get right back down the court and into the offense in a hurry.
Tate wide open for 3. That one can't go. Sam aggressive on the rebound, but he's going to get called for a foul. Tough break for the Riverlions there on that possession.
Got to say there's a nice crowd, guys, tonight for a Thursday night, and I hope the fans, whatever happens tonight, you come out on Saturday. It'd be good if we get a win.
That's right.
But we do need your support Saturday night, so try to buy your tickets. Come on out. It's already looking to be a good crowd, fun time, and definitely a lot of excitement. I was up in the second quarter getting a hot dog up in the concourse. Everybody was engaged. 50-50 was for the schools and school support in Niagara for disadvantaged kids. A lot of stuff going up there.
You know, Richard, walking around St. Catharines and being around the Niagara region, I always get excited. There are so many people wearing Niagara Riverlions clothing and gear and hats and cheering on the hometown basketball team here. They've really grown in popularity in the last couple of years.
I believe it has. I don't question that it has grown. And, you know, our average attendance is up 30-40% since the first year. You see people wearing the green and white. You know, not another shameless plug. I was at Cully's before the game. There's people in there with their green and Riverline stuff, walking to the stadium, talking about, a couple of people were mentioning player names. So there are people following this team, and all the staff is proud of it today. You can only see me on the YouTube, but I have my very fancy suit. And today was picture day, and we had a great picture there with all the staff, and it's a huge amount of people that are involved in this. I know everybody's proud that the crowds are growing, that the fan engagement is growing, and the the true Riverline culture is growing.
You know, that's a really interesting point, Richard, is something I was thinking about during the team picture that we had earlier in the game is like, yeah, there are 12 players, but there were way more other staff and people affiliated with the Riverlions alongside these guys. And so it just shows you that it really takes a village to build this team, and that the players on the court are a big part of it as Sam attempts that three-pointer. Dwayne Smith with the offensive board. But there's a whole crew of people that go into supporting the Riverlions and making these games possible.
Yeah, between front office paid staff, between volunteers, between broadcasters like yourselves. That was funny. We had to add, what, like 8 chairs, and everybody had to stand behind the chairs. It was double the 12 people that play the game. There's probably 24 staff that were in that picture. I don't know if Ian made it for the picture, man.
I did not. I was working in Hamilton.
Oh, okay. That's acceptable.
Oh, a big block there by Guillaume Payen-Boucard, comes storming down the other way.
Oh, and one. Count it. Payen-Boucard, his first bucket of the evening, is a big one.
That's his first bucket of the evening.
Ian, we'll have to get Nick Rittmeister, the graphic designer and lead content creator for the Niagara Riverlions, to digitally edit you back into the background somewhere on that team picture.
Sounds good. I'm not too proud for that.
They'll just take the guy from The Predator, and then we'll say that's Ian, man. And for those people who haven't seen him, he's got dreadlocks, big, strong guy. He's on the HGH, on the juice. He's doing everything, getting huge. Now, I see Deputy Commissioner, as I call him, Deputy Dog August Stevenson. Picture day, I didn't get an invite. It's because it's for employees of the Niagara Riverlions, oddly. You weren't invited, okay? You can do the NBLC Canada picture day. That would consist of you, I believe. Next comment.
Anthony Stover attempting the block against Payen-Boucard, who came firing down the court so quickly. Payen-Boucard's going to go to the free throw line after this incredible three-quarter court attempt. Falls a little short. Now, that is a gentleman wearing a number 11
Connor Wood
jersey. And I saw another fan along the baseline filming him, also wearing a number 11 Connor Wood jersey. Perhaps some hometown fans for number 11 here.
Maybe they made the drive from Guelph, Ontario.
You know, as a proud Guelph Griffin myself, I can understand, though, why people would like to live in the Royal City, but I'm sure Connor, like me, is having a really enjoyable time here in the Garden City of the Niagara region, St. Catharines.
Yeah, Connor's really heated up in the last few games. You know, his first year in the NBLC, we've talked about it on the broadcast, Zach. He kind of came out with some growing pains this season, but he's really heated up lately. He's having a slow game tonight. He's just attempted 3 shots, but he's a guy that can get hot beyond the arc, and when he does, look out.
But Ian, you're off topic. So you were working in Hamilton, the Steel City.
That's right.
Yes.
Let's get some other cities here. Anybody on YouTube can send us their city's nickname.
To know what St. John's is.
We're more than basketball here. We're about entertainment. We're about fun. We're about putting a smile on your face while watching a big game here. Let's see if Guillaume Bouchard makes the the free throw to make the 3-point play. So if I said Jalen Tate, who has impressed the two of you the most this season? Who would you say?
I know I agree with you. Personally, I don't know about you, Zach.
Yeah, it doesn't make great radio content, of course, but I also agree that Jalen Tate has been the biggest anchor point of this team so far, and that all of the offense flows through him, whether he's able to get it going or the passes that he's able to find other players. He's been so unselfish as a point guard in our team.
He's been the most consistent player, too, this season.
I think that's the word, consistency.
That's right. Sam Muldrow can really knock it down and be incredible when he's hot, and Guillaume Payen-Boucard has shown he's the only 30-plus point scorer on the team so far this year, but I think Jalen Tate's the one that's been getting it done every single night.
Xavier Ford kind of quietly putting together a really good evening as he goes up and grabs that rebound. He's 4 for 6 from the field. 10 points. Make that 12 now after that bucket. Here he is again, backing up on Dwayne Smith. Drives. Oh, circus-like shot, almost falls, but then Payen-Boucard puts it in his own net.
Yeah, well.
And then tries to knock it out of his own net, and the refs caught us on that one.
Tough break. That's kind of been happening to Boucard all night tonight. He's kind of bobbling those rebounds.
Guillaume's going through a little tough stretch in the season right now, from what I can tell. The last 3-4 games have not been the greatest for him. Could be fatigue. It's
and that's something fatigue we were talking about earlier in this broadcast. Will the edge start to slow down here in the second half?
Offensive foul.
Yeah.
Offensive foul for Boucard. Will the edge start to slow down here after a tough, a big win on the road, but a tough night in Kitchener-Waterloo last night?
Well, they're up 11 now with 4:36, so we're going to see what happens there, Zach. Who
Of course,
knows?
Richard, Lisa, paying attention, tuning in tonight from the island.
Oh,
Lisa,
super
perhaps
fan Lisa
our
out there.
biggest River Lions fan in the eastern part of Canada.
I think possibly one of the biggest NBLC overall basketball fans every night, every game on the feed. I think she's got 7 monitors in her living room watching the games at times.
Cly attempts a deep three. Oh, and he nails it.
Not something we see from Adam Cly too often, but a big three-pointer there and a big moment here trying to cut this deficit.
That's going to bring his three-point percentage up from low digits to a little higher.
So the River Lions down 73-65, just under 4 minutes remaining here in the third quarter. A third quarter that saw the Edge jump out to quite a lead. The River Lions have slowly been chipping away here. Corin Williams drives, loses the handle, and Adam Cly scoops that up and quickly brings it back up for Niagara, and he's going to get fouled.
Yeah, Corin Williams getting called for the foul there, reaching out and grabbing Adam Cly as he comes down the court, slowing things down here, allowing for this change and making sure that his team can get back into half-court defense.
So coming in for St. John's now is Hinkle, who completely destroyed the River Lions last game here.
Gosh, yeah.
With one of the greatest performances I've seen on this floor. And
That's right, that Euro step that he has to get into the lane is really incredible.
And he's the second best three-point shooter in the league as well, so look out for him. This is his time to shine late in games when they need him most.
And guys are going to have to step up for this team because Carl English isn't here today, so he's their closer, and someone else is going to be the closer tonight for them. Hopefully we can figure out who that is.
Great move there by Dwayne Smith in the paint.
Yeah.
Nice left-hand move by Dwayne Smith.
Quietly efficient night here for Dwayne Smith, 4 for 5 from the field. He's got 8 points.
Yeah, Dwayne Smith, not necessarily a guy. Look at that Euro step move by Ford. He is on some sort of tear tonight.
X-Man.
He's now up to 16 points. Second highest on his team. River Lions looking for a response here. Joseph, who's back in the game, fakes a three. Now surveys, pulls up from deep. Can't get it, but he snags his own rebound in a new 24.
There's 3 guys on him. Someone's got to be open.
Boucard wide open for 3, and that doesn't go either, but he snags his own rebound. Defers to Rocca, who now gives it inside to Cly, and great ball movement there. River Lions down by 6 now after being down by as many as 14 in this quarter.
Don't call it a comeback.
Not yet. Oh, Reed, that's a deep 2. He nails that one.
The Houston Rockets would have cut him for that shot.
Yeah,
No deep 2s allowed with that team.
No.
Adam Cly with the strong inbound pass is a little bit too much for the River Lions. That one goes out of bounds, and Niagara will give up the possession. St. John's Edge coming back the other way.
So for the fans out there, this is the frustration I think you might see that I feel at times, is the game got down to 6. We give up a long 2 that could have been a 3, come down the floor and make a bonehead, whatever. It's a mean word to say, but a bad turnover.
That's right.
And suddenly, down by 8. God knows what St. John does here. And a little run that was there is completely turned off.
Yeah, it's about blowing possessions and keeping the momentum that you've built up, and that's where the River Lions have struggled this year. You know, they'll go through small stretches where they look brilliant, and then I don't know if it's focus or what, it just dissipates. And, the other teams that they're playing just seem to take advantage of it.
You know, it's no lie when we can easily say that we've seen other teams go on 10, 9, 8-point runs on the River Lions, and for us it's a rare thing to happen.
And another missed 3. The River Lions continue to really struggle from beyond the arc tonight, shooting just 26% from three-point range.
Chris Joseph picking up another one of those fouls that is just kind of one of the fouls that you collect when you're just not moving your feet enough.
I'll tell you,
another reach
it's a lazy foul.
Yeah, I was trying to use a lot of words other than lazy right in. It's something that you don't need to see unnecessary foul or by the three-point line. A lot of defensive opportunity left.
I think it turned off. You're right.
Oh, all that insight with the microphone off. That was some of my best work.
Well, Zach, what was that about Bitcoin and when should we buy it? How did you already know about that? For anyone who wants to know, we can't. Oh, too bad.
Here's Corin Williams for the Edge. Xavier Ford, who's been on a tear lately, keeps it going. Beautiful move by Ford. No one can stop him right now for the River Lions. There's just been no answer. 10-point lead for the Edge. Cly, another three-point attempt. Won't go. 5 of 21 now from beyond the arc for Niagara in this game. Nice pass from Johnson inside to Ryan Reed. Look at that strong move on Clyde. And who else but Xavier Ford? That soft defense isn't going to get it done.
Standing around watching him put that ball back into the net.
Scary thing out there is St. John's' last 2 games of the year are against us as well.
That's right, at home for the St. John's.
At home, so those are going to be tough games for us to get even one out of there, and they're going to come home with a lot of confidence. They're going to pull that out.
Yeah, and
if they win this one, which right now, unfortunately, they're up by 11.
Yeah, and you know who's going to be back in the lineup most likely for those next 2 games is Carl English.
Captain Canada.
Second-rated player in points per game in the NBLC is Carl English. The Edge are without him tonight, but are firing on all cylinders without him. Hinkle, no problem. Right over top of Jalen Tate, and the River Lions just look lethargic and out of this game right now. They need something to get the excitement going, get the building rocking again.
Ian, who's the leading scorer in the league? Even I don't know that.
I would think it's Royce White.
Oh, he's points per game, man. Okay.
Another unnecessary turnover for the River Lions. That's something we saw plaguing the St. John's Edge in that first half. Fortunately for the River Lions here, just not necessarily on the same page in the way that you'd want them to be here as the third quarter comes to a close.
Corin Williams inside to Xavier Ford. Now Hinkle for 3. Nope, Joe Rock is there to scoop up the rebound. Jalen Tate hucks up a shot. No good. He gets fouled, though, and he'll go to the line for 3 shots.
No, they're not giving him the shooting foul there.
No. One official signaled one thing.
Yeah.
The other signaled another.
No, you know what it was? Superman Johnson, number 3. He signaled number 3 fouled him. We both got caught by that for a second.
Yes. That makes sense. And unable to even get a shot off are the River Lions after a very disappointing third quarter. They are down 83-69.
Wow.
And St. John's showing why they are second in the Atlantic Division and knocking on the door of catching London. I just want to confirm Royce White is the league leader in points per game. Yeah, he's averaging nearly 25 a game.
Now,
yeah, but how many? He's played like 7 games with his 9-game missing in action type of thing.
That
there,
is true.
Doesn't suspensions. Nobody knew where he was for 9 games.
Skews the numbers a little bit. You're right. But still.
Now, River Lions fans here, especially the St. John's Edge, perhaps not River Lions fans, but the Edge Facebook or YouTube account. Some praise here for the Blimp. Richard, can you tell us a little bit about the Blimp, who sponsors it, and what it does here in the Meridian Center?
The Blimp is sponsored by the Penn Center, which is the largest shopping mall in the Niagara region. We got it last year. It's a fan favorite. It's a very good Blimp. It can drop coupons. So for all the fans out there, when you're at a River Lions game, there's a point in the game where the Blimp flies around and drops coupons on your head, and they're actually good coupons. It has a camera up there, so you get some really cool shots that we sometimes put on our Instagram and Facebook or even feeds.
And now there is one staff member whose specific job during the game is to fly the Blimp, and that's got to be one of the most popular gigs for a volunteer flying something cool like that around the.
It's a very fun job. It involves 6 years of community college and Sheridan and Humber and High, then a 4-year training course at the local flying school at the St. Catharines Regional Airport, which a lot of people believe is Niagara on the Lake Airport. No, it's a fun job. Today, Darren Conway, who's actually one of the birthday boys that was thrown up on the screen, is running the Blimp. And before that, we had a pilot by Cheyenne McFarland was the first ever pilot of it. And it is fun. I have never personally put that thing in my hands because I'm scared of crashing it and making a Hindenburg scene here at Center Court.
Me too. It does not look easy when they're holding that operating board in their hands.
Both teams filing back onto the court here. Fourth quarter action just about set to get underway. The River Lions have a bit of a mountain to climb. They're down 83-69 with the St. John's Edge.
Nothing a 16-0 run can help there, Ian.
No, definitely not. They're going to need something like that.
How many viewers do you have? 193. I would think there'd be a larger viewers with all the St. John Newfoundland people on the YouTube feed. I guess
people of St. John's want to see their basketball team. Charles Hinkle pops that one right out of Chris Joseph's hands.
Yeah, Chris Joseph's struggles continue. Just 1 for 6 from the field tonight.
0 for 4 from the three-point line.
Another turnover resulting in a River Lions possession. Joseph trying to pull up his stats a bit. He nails a big 3.
That's a good shot for Chris Joseph, getting his first points here. The second half, 7 points now for Joseph.
Now an 11-point deficit for the River Lions. They need to keep that intensity going on defense. Reed finds some room. Fadeaway 2 won't go, and Dwayne Smith with a nice rebound. Good positioning on Xavier Ford there in the paint.
Just call him the X-Man, Ian. X-Man. It's so much easier.
The X-Man. Oh, look at that fadeaway. Touch off the glass from Jalen Tate. Beautiful job by the NBLC rookie. Potential Rookie of the Year.
Who else would be in the running? I have no idea. Maybe the fans can send us in a comment. Or is Carl English considered a Rookie of the Year in the NBLC?
I don't know. But if he is, I think he's running away with it.
Yeah, Xavier Ford knocks that big bucket down, extending the lead back to 11 points for the Edge.
I don't think it would hurt. So he's 36. Who cares? He's a rookie in the league.
No, I think Carl English could win Canadian of the Year.
Oh, Sam, another big 3. So both teams trading punches here in the fourth quarter.
Frankly, Carl English could win Player of the Year. Should win right now.
19 points for Big Sam Muldrow tonight. He's feeling it from beyond the arc. 4 for 6.
Oh, both teams are feeling it from beyond the arc. Charles Hinkle knocks down another one.
Hinkle with the dagger.
And one of the better three-point shooters in the league was 0 for 4 before that shot from beyond the arc. Dwayne Smith now working it inside on the X-Man.
Smith 10 points, 5 for 6 from the field, 5 rebounds.
St. John's calls a timeout because it's down from 16 to 9. Their coach might be getting a little nervous, thinking there might be a Riverline comeback here.
Well, we talked about it all broadcast, you know. The St. John's Edge, they played last night in Kitchener-Waterloo, came out with a W. However, you know, tired legs might become a factor here in the fourth quarter. Niagara needs to keep the pedal to the metal.
Zach, are you going to be on the broadcast Saturday, or do you have another gig by any chance?
Our game on Saturday night, a special opportunity here for the Niagara Riverlions, will be broadcast live. Not live to tape, not on tape play, but live on Coach Go TV, on your TV, on Coach Go here in the Niagara region. And I will be bringing this game's action to the people at home on television.
So that means everyone, Ian will be solo. If I'm at the game, maybe I'll try to get on. If I get enough votes, I'll come on to the broadcast.
Hop on.
And but that's real exciting because the Coach Go feed gets us good ratings, gets people watching. Our YouTube feed doesn't hurt as well.
That's right, you know, and obviously I would assume that a majority of our fans watching on YouTube are the opposing fans at home. But the Coach Go's broadcast really is one of the best advertising opportunities that the Riverlions have to show fans here in the Niagara region that if you're not at a Riverlions game, and if you haven't been at a Riverlions game, you got to get down here. And on Saturday night, we'll be able to talk about our final home game of the season next week.
That's good to hear. Who are we playing Saturday?
We will be playing the other teams in the last home game of the season, which I will tell you in a moment or two.
Just so y'all know, none of us know who we're playing.
Kitchener-Waterloo.
The KW Titans.
Oh, Hinkle knocks
That's
down
Saturday's
another
game.
3.
We're going to call that the Battle of the Bottom Feeders of the Ontario Division.
Oh, of course, we'll hold things down here on the home court against a couple former Niagara Riverlions, Omar Strong, Logan Stutz, who won the MVP award.
Wait, did you say Windsor or KW?
Windsor will be playing the
Windsor.
final home game Saturday
Oh.
night. It's Kitchener-Waterloo and Sam Muldrow, another big three-pointer. He's got 5 tonight.
Oh my gosh, both teams are just draining everything right now. Unbelievable. Back and forth we go. Important for the Riverlions here to not trade punches with Kitchener-Waterloo. Or excuse me.
Got you all mixed up here, Ian.
With St. John's.
The edge. Next thing you know, Chris Shove is going to be Chris Russell.
Yeah. Oh, you heard that, did you?
Let me give you a tip. That was me who sent that text into
Was it
Zach.
you? Oh, yeah.
You were doing it for 3 games.
Oh, man, I'm a big NHL fan. I can't get it out of my head. I'm doing
that's
better now.
Who is Chris Russell?
He's a defenseman for the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh, God, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know anything about ice hockey.
I know a lot about ice hockey, but I don't follow a non-playoff team and their third-line defenseman, unfortunately. I'm assuming that's what he is.
I don't know what he plays. He's the top shot blocker in the NHL every year. That's all I know.
Skeet just shot that from come by chance, I think, ladies and gentlemen. That was a deep 3.
Yeah, Skeet is now 5 for 7 from three-point range. He's got 17 points.
Just for some of the listeners out there, a long time ago in my young 20s, I used to work in a steel company in Etobicoke. That's a suburb of Toronto, for those of you who've never been to Toronto. And the other 31 workers we're going to use a nice term, newfies from Bona Vista. So for 4 years, every day, I was with the
popular spot
Newfies
on
from Bona Vista. We had great parties, going and drinking the Labatt Blue, and the biggest conversation every night, every day at lunch: Maple Leafs or Canadians.
Oh, yeah?
That's when I found out there's only 2 teams in Newfoundland that they support. I never knew that, and to this day they'll still fight over who's the Canadians or the Leafs.
Well, this year there's only one team to root for, and that's the Leafs. The Canadians are bottom feeders in that league.
Yeah,
Are they making? Are they out of the playoffs as well?
Oh, the Habs are done, yeah.
Thank God. I hate the Habs.
It was interesting. I went to the Buffalo Sabres game last week. For fans who aren't aware, the Niagara region borders the Niagara River, and then upstate New York is just on the other side. And the Buffalo Sabres, about 25 minutes away from here, taking on the Toronto Maple Leafs at home. And if you were to close your eyes, you would have believed that it was a Leafs game. There were about 80% of the fans at the arena rooting for the road team.
Zach has given everyone a great geography lesson here for those of people who know Buffalo's bordering us down here. But there are people who don't know that, that's for sure. Actually, a friend of mine went down to the last game, got to see a 4-0 Nashville Predators win. Didn't even have a goal scored to cheer for.
Nashville looking like they could be heading back to the Stanley Cup
Yeah,
Finals.
they're beating everyone this year. They are the team to beat in the West, that's for sure.
For anyone listening on this telecast, they must be just scratching their heads. Why are you guys talking about hockey, the Edmonton Oilers,
this is the
Buffalo
NBL
Sabres?
of Canada, they understand. And look at the score right now. The River Lions got to get back into this game.
Yeah, that lead exploded back to 15 points, Richard. You're right. They've been able to close the gap, get back into single digits, and then the Edge come storming right back to break it back open.
Yeah, we're not going to give the St. John Edge fans relish to bring up the 15-point lead they have. We're going to talk about hockey, basket weaving, other things, until the River Lions bring it down to 2 or something.
Alex Johnson. Now, here's another guy who's tortured the River Lions in some other uniforms in the NBLC.
The Brampton/Orangeville/High School Jim A's.
Oh, my God. Jaron Skeet is out of his mind right now.
Oh, my goodness. Maybe he's going to break the NBL record for threes in a quarter.
He's got 6 right now, and he's up to 20 points. 4 Edge players with over 15 points, and Xavier Ford absolutely denies Jalen Tate.
And here comes a,
Stover tried the alley-oop slam, but lost the handle. And
Stover, former Liverline, who never got to see the floor for the team due to player personnel numbers.
Yeah, he did spend a couple weeks here with the Niagara River Lions, did not get on the court, did not dress for a game as a member of the Niagara River Lions.
St. John's with an S. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen.
That happens in our Canadian leagues. You know, we've got 2 St. John teams in NBL Canada. Of course, the CFL had 2 Rough Riders for a long time.
How about we call them the Edge? Skeet not being shy.
yeah, why not the way he's been shooting? That one won't go, though. Sam decides to pull up from deep. No, sir.
I don't think I'm going to have to eat my words here, but I think Carl English is back at the hotel preparing the pops for the players for after the game.
Yeah, 18-point lead.
That's right. The head coach of the St. John's Edge slowing things down here for his team, saying, hey, make sure you use all of this clock.
Oh, Xavier Ford with authority.
Yeah, blows past Chris Joseph on that play. All 5 River Lions kind of watching that one develop for the Edge. They got enough fans here in the court. We don't need more on the court.
Deep 2 from Joseph, and he knocks that one down. First bucket in a while for the River Lions. Here's Skeet. Now Ford, who has had an unbelievable half. He's now up to 24 points out of nowhere, 11 for 13 from the field. Another guy that's pretty good is Charles Hinkle as he drives to the hoop.
All scorers, Xavier Ford, and how efficient has he been getting it done, Ian? Really incredible.
What a deep roster do the St. John's Edge have. Without Carl English, Randy Glaze hasn't played very much. Getting great performances from multiple different players. Another missed 3 from the River Lions, and that's going to be a turnover by the Edge, though.
Yeah, it's really easy to look at the numbers. St. John shooting 55% from the field, 49% from the 3. Then the good old River Lions, 45 and 29.
You know, that's something that's happened frequently for the River Lions, that opposing teams have been able to shoot 3-pointers particularly well against them this season.
Yeah, they've really run into some hot teams from beyond the arc.
Well, it's hard. You keep on counting, that's just hot shooting. There's nothing you can do about it, but it kind of consistently seems to happen over and over.
Yeah, when a pattern occurs, you start to wonder what's going on. Joseph drives, gets jump ball as Xavier Ford with smart play to grab that basketball, and it will be edge ball.
Wally Ellenson back in the game here for the red hot X-Man, I believe.
Yeah, Hinkle's going to grab some pine as well.
So 3 members of the St. John's Edge with 20-plus points, and Wally Ellison's knocking on the doorstep with 19. Really incredible team effort here for the road team.
Yeah.
Well, the greatest Riverline of all time, Sam Muldrow, solid with 22 points, 4 of 8 from the 3, 8 of 14, rebounds, everything. But otherwise, no one else is showing up for the Riverlines today.
If Wally Ellenson gets a bucket here, he'll be up to 20 as well. And you know what? When a team has 4 20-point players, it's hard to win. hard to win against that kind of production.
You can say that again. And there's
Ryan Reed puts one up and in.
Steps in the game, gets a 2.
And just the effort level is not there for Niagara in this second half. And it's a little worrisome playing a team that's, on the second half of a back-to-back. When you're well rested, playing a team that's probably a little bit tired and getting outworked. Not outplayed, but outworked as well. That's it's worrisome for the River Lions here, as this is a potential first-round playoff matchup.
That's right. Of course, when we said jump ball, we meant that that's what the referees called, and so the arrow would dictate which play side of the court got the ball. But of course, FIBA rules dictate that there is no physical jump. That's an NBA-specific rule.
You know what? I just checked. This is actually a pretty big game for the Edge, as if they win tonight, they will take over first place in the Central Division.
These games do matter for them, and those last 2 games in St. John will be huge for them as well.
That's interesting. So the St. John's Edge, this is game number 38 for them, and then they will be off until the River Lions visit St. John's over the Easter weekend to take on those 2 road games.
And really, this is turning into quite the massacre at this point. 108 to 86. The River Lions not showing any life.
The River Lions were doing so well in the first half, dictating play, really having a lot of intensity. And then they finished that first half with the St. John's Edge finished that first half on a 20-5 run. And since then, it has been all St. John's Edge here in the second half.
Here's Desmond Lee Brempong seeing his first minutes, and his first shot is no problem. So even the bench players for the Edge are getting it done.
Brempong making his first appearance of the game just here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's been a big part of their lineup in the previous couple games that we've seen, and not seeing many minutes here tonight. Good rebound there by Joseph, snagging it out of the hands of Brempong. Boucard stops up abruptly, finds Tate wide open, drives to the lane, and he gets fouled by Skeet, so Jalen Tate will go to the line.
We're going to have a Matt Marshall sighting coming in here in the 4th.
A Riverline who hasn't seen too many meaningful minutes this season,
But Matt Marshall is basketball savvy in that he was playing in Europe all year. He played 30 games, and then near the end of the season, he came back here, and Coach Joe Rasso signed him up as a character type of guy, 12th man for the River Lions to finish out the season here.
Well, Zach and I talked about it. He's a good guy in the locker room. He's always the guy on the bench, a very positive attitude, always clapping, always cheering on his teammates. And when he comes in the game, he does a good job of, positioning underneath the basket and drawing some attention.
Matt has a role. There's no doubt about that. However, down 21, his role isn't to score 22 points.
No.
Matt Marshall, like we said in the first half of this game, former Brock Badger getting to play here in the Niagara region, a Burlington native. And he played a couple years in Europe too, didn't he, Richard?
Well, yeah, he played in Spišská Nova Ves in Slovakia, and he actually played there this year. He came back in the end of February. They only had a few games left. They were out of the playoff run, and Joe Rasso signed him here. And actually, the team that he played for, there's a film crew here from that city doing a documentary, and they're here watching the game today, filming. They're interviewing staff of the River Lions. They've interviewed Matt Marshall today, or yesterday, I know that. I have an interview scheduled with them tomorrow, so I have no idea what they're going to be asking me about.
Nice.
And
now, should they be asking questions in their native tongue, you will be prepared, of course.
I could speak.
Them.
I could speak to them back in Slovak, in English, in Spanish, all 3. But they do have an interesting story. The team where Matt played for, before he came there last year, was on a historic 0-52 run.
Oh my goodness.
Something not seen in professional basketball. It set a record. And when Matt showed up there, I believe they lost about 5 more games. They were 0-47, and then they finally won a game.
He was there for the win.
He was there for the win, and then the win the next week after, if it's hard to believe. So this crew is making a documentary. I believe the title is going to be 0-52, like 0-52. And it's a documentary about the town, about the basketball, about the culture, and I guess how it finally ended. So it's a very high-level documentary. They're talking about putting in the Venice and Cannes film festivals. So if that works out for it, there's going to be some Niagara Riverline content at some prestigious film festivals around the world.
That's pretty cool. I might have to create my own IMDb page if I get caught in the background of any of their shots tonight.
If they're around Saturday, I can ask them to maybe interview you out there.
Oh,
you'll be busy with Kojiko, with the big boys, with the HD cameras. Cable 10, baby.
So 17-point lead here for the St. John's Edge. They have come on strong in these final 3 quarters. And Ian, this is exactly the time when we thought the River Lions would be on fire here with the St. John's Edge playing their 8th quarter in about 28 hours.
That's right, Zach. Quite the opposite for what we predicted.
Is St. John flying home tomorrow, or they have another game on this road trip? I'm just wondering. Anybody know?
Let's take a look, shall we?
2:12 left. I don't think there's a comeback here now.
No,
Fan was talking to me a couple of games ago about a 4-point spot on the court he wanted to see. Perhaps this would be the time for the River Lions to take advantage of it.
No, Rich, that's it for their road trip.
So they're just finished.
Actually, the next time they play, though,
Is the River Lions.
is the River Lions on next Saturday.
Yeah, unfortunately for families, due to the NBLC brilliant scheduling, the River Lions will be playing during Easter weekend. I know that a lot of players aren't happy about it. As an owner, I'm not happy because I was thinking of going out there, but I'm not going to give up my family time for an Easter weekend. And it's going to be a big weekend for St. John's, possibly, an important weekend for them. And hopefully our guys stay focused and maybe pull one out there.
Well, and it'll look like the St. John's Edge will be starting the playoffs at home. It looks like they're going to finish the season in 2nd place in the Central Division, so they'll be able to continue that extended rest. They won't have to travel for about 3 weeks.
Maybe
No,
first,
Zach,
Zach.
we know they could be first. They're
just
first
passed.
after this win.
Wow,
They're going to pass London.
If they pass London, then this could be a preview of that first-round matchup.
I believe the London Lightning have 4 games left. Windsor, KW, and I don't know who the other 2 are, but they definitely have. Both teams have a schedule where they can win the rest of their games. So,
No, fans and the team confirming that St. John's Edge are flying home after tonight's matchup against the River Lions, and then they will have, like we said, that 2-week break before they face the River Lions in St. John's for those final 2 games of the playoff or the regular season, and then maybe take them right on in the playoffs.
Tyler
Of course,
Watson.
as an owner, Richard, perhaps you're thinking about, well, the team will fly out for those final 2 games, and then perhaps they will stay there to start the playoffs rather than flying back out here, getting some less travel opportunities.
If there's any justice and the NBLC figures out how to do a schedule, that's what we'll end up doing, is staying out there, I guess. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Interesting stat here. London has lost 4 of their last 6 games, so they're in a bit of a slump here, and the Edge look like they're kind of rolling at this point. So
Interesting. Now, of course, we saw former assistant coach Elliot Etherington coach his first game as a head coach for the London Lightning a couple of days ago. He unfortunately had a loss. That was one of those losses.
That was a controversial game, crazy game.
3-pointers being traded here in the final minute. 116 to 100, the Edge lead in a dominant second half performance by them, where the River Lions really just didn't decide to show up. Johnson 3 won't go. And we're under 40 seconds now. So I think it's going to be really important for the River Lions here to regroup after tonight's loss. Now they got a big game coming up in just a few days against Kitchener-Waterloo. They need to get some confidence going.
We'll see what happens, because last game there was a closed-door meeting with a lot of shouting in there. Last game there was a lot of shouting in there, and we'll see what happens after this one.
So Connor Wood knocks down another 3. 3-pointers have been aplenty in this one. Not enough for the River Lions, though, shooting just 32% from 3-point range, shooting 46% from the field.
Superman here is dribbling it out, being an honorable person. Probably going to hand it over to the ref or just take a shot with 1 or 2 seconds left. There you go.
Ellenson once again jumping up over everybody. I can't get over this guy's hops.
Yeah, Ellenson looks like he's going to go back to the free throw line. What an incredible night Wally Ellenson has had here in the Lions Den.
He's comfortable here. He is a comfortable guy here. He's 7 for 12, 5 for 7 from three-point range, 21 points.
4 players on the St. John's Edge in double-digit scoring tonight. Or sorry, with 20-plus points tonight.
I don't know if that's happened all year long anywhere on any team this year. It'd be a real interesting stat for someone to find out there.
One bright spot for the River Lions. A bright spot
There's
all
a bright
season
spot
has been Jalen Tate. He's got a double-double, 13 points, 11 assists. Marshall from the free throw line won't go, and that will wrap things up here from the Lions Den. The River Lions cannot overcome a great second half effort from the Edge, and they lose this one 118 to 103, and the Edge take over first place in the Central Division, overtaking the London Lightning. For Zach Dadson and Rich Petco, thank you for joining us.
Don't forget Saturday's game, everybody. It's a minor sport appreciation night presented by Pete's Pizza. We're playing the KW Titans. March 24th, Saturday, tip-off at 7 p.m.
That's right. Thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure to join us on Saturday. We'll be back then. Thanks so much. Have a good night.